Your scan tool just threw a P0420 code, and now you're staring at the screen, worried you'll have to replace the catalytic converter, and that's no small fix. Swapping a converter can cost a serious chunk of money. But here's the kicker, that code often doesn't mean the cat is shot. More times than not, the real cause is elsewhere in the system. The hard part is knowing which side of the engine the trouble signal came from, bank 1 or bank 2. Stick with me to the end, I'll give you a short garage checklist you can run in minutes. Mastering this saves you from throwing parts at the wrong side. So let's get into it, how to spot bank 1 the right way without the guessing. The 30-second trick to find bank 1. Here's the simple rule. You need the 30-second trick to spot bank 1 every time. You can't rely on the side of the car. There's no universal driver's side or passenger side answer. Bank 1 is always defined by where cylinder 1 sits. That's the only thing that matters. This is where a lot of online chatter throws people off. Some say bank 1 is always on the driver's side. Others swear it's the passenger's side, but none of that holds up across different engines or brands. If you base your repair on that, you'll likely end up bolting parts to the wrong side and watching the same check engine light return a week later. Think about it like this. Picture a street of houses. Odds run down one side, evens on the other. Engines are the same. Cylinder numbers climb in sequence, and cylinder 1 is the anchor. Wherever you find cylinder 1, the bank that contains it is bank 1, every time. Here's where the layout matters. Inline engines keep all the cylinders in one row, so the whole row is bank 1. In V engines, like V6S or V8S, you've got 2 rows. One side has cylinder 1, that's bank 1. The opposite row is bank 2. Boxer or flat engines, like the wide opposed layouts you see in some brands, also have 2 banks with the same rule. The one with cylinder 1 is bank 1. So how do you actually pin down cylinder 1? Start with your owner's manual or a proper repair guide. Many include a cylinder numbering chart. Sometimes you'll see numbers stamped right on the crankcase or valve cover. If not, factory service data or a dealer repair manual will have it. Avoid trusting markings on plug wires or coil boots alone. Those can be wrong if parts were swapped. Stick to the manual or the block stamp for the real answer. Now, maybe you want a real hands-on check with a scan tool. Here's the safe way. Step 1, erase the trouble codes already stored so you know you're starting clean. Step 2, fire up the engine. Step 3, briefly unplug one upstream O2 sensor at a time. Watch your scanner, the bank tied to that sensor will flatline or throw a new code. Plug it back in, repeat the step on the other bank, and you'll know exactly which side is which. That takes less than a minute and leaves 0 doubt. The best part is, this stops the guessing game. No replacing the wrong sensor, no wasting cash on unused parts, and no chasing the same code around. Once you know where cylinder 1 is by the manual, by the block stamp, or by the scan tool method, you've solved the bank puzzle. So here's the takeaway you need. Bank 1 equals cylinder 1. That's the definition. Use that every time and you'll stop throwing sensors, converters, or money at the wrong spot. Now that you know how to lock down which side is bank 1, the next step is understanding what happens when that code P0420 shows up. Because here's the real headache. Even when you know the right bank, that light doesn't always mean the converter's toast. Case study, chasing down a P420 without wasting cash. Let's put all this into a shop floor example, a case study of chasing down a P0420 without bleeding your wallet. You hook up your scan tool, pull the code, and there it is, P0420 on bank 1. The common move is to assume the catalytic converter is bad. Plenty of drivers and even some shops make that call right away. They swap in a new converter, clear the code, and feel like it's solved. But a week later, the same code is back. Now the money and time are gone, and the problem never left. Here's the reason that story plays out so often. The catalytic converter's job is to clean up unburned fuel gases before they leave the tailpipe. The downstream oxygen sensor bolts in right after the converter and reports on how well that's happening. If that sensor gets weak or starts to fail, it can duplicate the signal from the upstream oxygen sensor too closely. To the PCM, when both waveforms look the same, the converter appears inefficient. But in reality, the converter may be fine, the sensor itself is the liar. Think of it like checking 2 gauges in the shop. One gauge is supposed to swing back and forth quickly. The other should stay steady. If both start moving together, you suspect one of the gauges is broken, not that the machine itself suddenly changed. That's exactly the test the PCM is running with the O2 sensors. Upstream signals should flick up and down rapidly, downstream should sit flatter. When the downstream starts copying the upstream completely, the computer sets a P0420. But don't stop at assuming it's just the sensor. A vacuum leak can create the same code. Picture unmetered air slipping in past a gasket or cracked hose. Now one bank is running lean compared to the other. The PCM tries to adjust fuel trims, but the imbalance fools it into thinking the converter is at fault. That tiny leak at a rubber line is a cheap fix, but if you skip proper checks, you'll waste your cash on a big part swap that changes nothing. Here's what you actually do to nail it down. Step 1. Watch the live O2 voltage graphs on your scan tool. Upstream should switch rapidly, downstream should stay steadier. Step 2. If downstream mirrors upstream, stop and check that sensor before blaming the converter. Test the heater circuit and wiring, and use your tool to confirm switching speed. Slow or flatline voltages point to a bad sensor. Step 3. Check for exhaust leaks, vacuum leaks, or even misfires on that bank. Only if all those pass should you move the catalytic converter up for replacement. Make this process part of your routine. Don't just clear and pray. Use the scan tool, inspect the basics, and confirm. If you do replace a sensor, here are a couple of quick tips straight from the shop bench. Let the exhaust cool down. Hit the threads with penetrating oil a few hours earlier. Use a proper oxygen sensor socket to get it out without rounding. On the new one, dab high temp anti-seize on the threads only. Never touch the tip or it will ruin the sensor before it even runs. Once you've repaired or replaced the part, clear the codes, drive the car through a full warm-up cycle, and recheck live data. If the downstream and upstream settle into the proper pattern and the fault doesn't return, you know you fixed it. Straight up, this order of testing saves serious money. Many P0420 fixes come from wiring repairs, sealing up a leak, or replacing one tired sensor instead of an entire converter. That's why knowing where bank 1 sits and diagnosing in the right order pays off. And here's where most folks get burned: skipping these steps and guessing at the wrong component. When that happens, the repair bill shoots way past what the real problem ever cost in the first place. Misreading banks wastes time and parts. Test first. Replace only after you confirm bank sensor position and wiring. That's the right order every time. Quick checklist to say out loud in the garage. Find cylinder hajone, that's bank 1. Confirm upstream versus downstream sensor. Sensor 1 before the cat, sensor 2 after. Use live data. Upstream should switch, downstream should stay steadier. Check wiring, heater, and any exhaust or vacuum leaks. Replace the sensor only if it fails those tests. Only then suspect the cat. Subscribe for practical how-tos and scanner-driven diagnostics you can use this weekend. Drop your car's make divided by model and the code in the comments, and I'll point you to the right bank to check first. Save the money. Test first. Get it right the first time.